How's it hanging, dudes and dudettes? Inclusivity. Hey, come on, that's my middle name, right? Anyways, guys, welcome back to my channel. Humanity First. My name is Sean, and Pete Booty. Man, it's not looking good for Pete. Zero of the black vote. He's swindling people in South Carolina, trying to get them to endorse his Frederick Douglass plan, and now, come to find out, he used to be an advisor, or used to work with a consulting firm, McKinsey, that used to advise the Trump administration on immigration policy. Something that he's been, a progressive on. All right, let's read the article. This is gold, man. This is gold. Okay, the quote from let's quote of him, or one of his campaign people, was, "The political risk is not that his former employer, a multi-billion-dollar corporate entity that promotes fraud across the globe, will be mad at him. It's what you would have to disclose." Oh man, he's got corruption written all over his face. And him working at McKinsey, he's been touting that as a litmus test for him being able to be president. I guess if every president like Donald Trump, or almost Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and Obama, they're all corrupt. So I guess that qualifies him based off the crappy system that we have in place. Days after reports surfaced about the global consulting firm McKinsey's work advising the Trump administration on immigration policy, calls are growing louder for South Bend, Indiana mayor and 2020 presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg, Pete Booty, to disclose details about the work he did for the company. Political observers took notice Thursday evening when the New York Times editorial board joined ethics watchdogs in demanding that Booty release the information, saying his claims that he is bound by a non-disclosure agreement (NDA) create a situation that is untenable. Mr. Buttigieg owes voters a more complete account of his time at the company, especially given the nature of the company. I'd say so, yes. Voters seek an alternative to Mr. Trump should demand the candidates not only reject Mr. Trump's positions, but also his behavior, including his refusal to share information about his health, his business dealings, editorial editors wrote. The standard requires Mr. Buttigieg to talk about his time at McKinley. That is the precedent, yes. If you work for Goldman Sachs and you're running for president, I think we should know about that and what you went on and what you did. You know what I mean? Especially if you're trying to hide it. You know what I mean? And obviously he's a presidential candidate, so if there's nothing to hide, McKinsey would have no problem with releasing him from the NDA, right? If there's nothing to hide. So, Buttigieg worked for McKinsey from 2007 to 2010 and claims he worked in a junior position. He wrote briefly about his time at the company in a memoir. Shortest Way Home is the name of the memoir, acknowledging consulting work he did in Iraq and Afghanistan in retail and corporate sectors. So, he's one of the people who's been profiting off of war. That's what it is. He's this endless war that Tulsi is railing against, and Andrew Yang is strongly against. He's been making money from it. Pete Booty been making money from these wars. So trust and believe that if he becomes president, these wars will continue. There will be a ramping up, just like there was a drone strike in the Middle East not that long ago. You won't hear about it. You know what I mean? Mainstream media is not going to cover it. But there's a drone strike, and it killed quite a few people. And it's just like another false flag for us to put more people. It's just, he is the type of people who profit from making sure that our boys in camo remain in camo and put their lives on the line every day just so they can make money. Just so you know that. The company denounced by one critic as a corporate greed machine. Wow, did I beat them to it? They beat me to it. Has advised Twitter. No, not Twitter. No, not Twitter. Back. Sorry. The company denounced one critic as corporate greed machine. Has advised authoritarian regimes, including Saudi Arabia's monarchy, state-owned companies in China, and autocratic government of Turkish President Recep Erdogan. Sorry, I'm not even gonna Yeah. 2017, McKinsey consultant advised President Donald Trump's Customs and Border Protection Agency on detention savings opportunities, recommending ways to reduce the amount of food and medical care immigrants were giving while being detained by the U.S. government. The proposed cuts made some career ICE workers uncomfortable. Career ICE workers uncomfortable. That is insane. People who are working in ICE, they're used to treating immigrants like animals. You know what I mean? They're used to that. And I'm not saying believe me, I'm a right-leaning person. Normally on most issues, including immigration. And I do think that people should come to this country within due process. You know what I mean? There's ways to do it. Barring refugees, just a little bit different. Regular people. So ICE is used to working with boatloads of people who are trying to jump the border just for a better life and without going through the red tape to do it, right? And if it's making them uncomfortable, holy cow. What is this guy going to do to Social Security? What is this guy going to do to SNAP program? What is this guy going to do to all the safety nets that we have? I mean, at least Yang is proposing a UBI not in place, but as a second to these. What is he doing? He's doing nothing but copying off Yang. And it's all just a smoke and mirrors to get him in there. That way he can keep the corruption going. It's so sad. And Bloomberg's will never believe that. Anyways, although Buttigieg no longer worked for McKinsey when the company advised CBC and ICE, yeah, but even if he never worked with them, they have a systemic problem of consulting people based off that. Right, so if they're using those tactics with ICE, they're using those type of tactics with somebody else, which shows bad on Booty. It just does. Jeff Hawson, the government watchdog revolving door project, told the Huffington Post that Buttigieg must confirm whether his work was, guided by the same worldview that led the company to recommend letting asylum seekers go hungry to save money. Exactly. We have plenty of experience that shows us seeing the whole world in dollars and cents can be pretty harmful and vulnerable to vulnerable and poor people. Hauser said, is that Pete Buttigieg's approach to governance? If he can show he rebelled against that approach, that would be material to people too, right? Yes. Hauser was among the critics who scoffed this week at the notion that McKinsey would take legal action against high-profile presidential candidate who counts McKinsey employers among his top donors. Okay, so here's the thing. First of all, they're his top donors, and they're not going to file legal action against him unless he discloses something that they shouldn't be disclosed. And if their big claim to infamy is that, you know, they're recommending letting asylum seekers go hungry to save money, then they should have no problem letting go of his non-disclosure. If that's the bad thing they did and they didn't do anything bad in the previous times while he was working there. Wonder why they wouldn't let the NDA go. So the NDA is about illegitimate, is as legitimate an excuse as Donald Trump claiming the IRS audit is the reason he can't release his tax returns to the public. Damn! That shot's fired. That is rough. There is no scenario whereby McKinsey would sue Pete Buttigieg, a rising political star and possible president of the United States, for violating a non-disclosure agreement. The political risk is not that his former employer, a multi-billion-dollar corporate entity, promotes fraud across the globe, will be mad at him. It's what he would have to disclose. Oh, man. Okay, so in the past 2 years, this person goes on, Aaron Carmen, stop it. In the past 2 to 3 years, scores of women and men have broken their NDAs at great personal risk to inform the public interest. And anyway, what are the odds McKinsey goes after Booty for disclosing client names and projects in this political environment? Look, I'm afraid of a company that advised cutting food and medical services to immigrant detainees is a great look for the Democratic primary, Carmen added sarcastically. On Tuesday, Senator Elizabeth Warren demanded transparency from her opponent in the Democratic presidential primary, noting the aside from the secrecy surrounding Buttigieg's work for McKinsey. The mayor should open up the doors to his private high-dollar fundraisers and let the media and the public know the names of his bundlers, major donors who solicit large contributions from others. These doors shouldn't be closed, and no one should be left to wonder what kind of promises are being made to the people that they pony up big bucks to be in the room. Now, Elizabeth Warren is not really one to to say much to, because she's been rewriting a lot of her Medicare for All plans, which is really just going to get it. Anyways, props to her for at least, you know, sticking it to Buttigieg, which some of these other lesser-known candidates, Tulsi Gabbard and Andrew Yang, need to be doing. They need to be calling these people out for this kind of stuff. And Yang is definitely going after MSNBC, but his real competition are these other people. And Buttigieg is stealing from Andrew Yang, so he needs to call him out on that, as Elizabeth Warren is calling him out on his billionaire donors, right? So, you know, it is what it is. Pocahontas happens to be right on that one. That's all I got for you guys on this one. I think there's another story coming up, so don't go anywhere. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that good algorithmic jazz. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Oh, booty. Booty, booty, booty.
One of the best to ever do it.